Hey everyone, in this video I want to talk about knowing your safety why, and this is not some spin on Simon Sinek's discussion around knowing your why. As great as it is, I'd love to be recognised as a thought leader like himself, but this is about understanding your content and your topics that you're actually doing and working with in the workplace. So as an example, over the years I've worked with my former business partner, a good friend Sam Lloyd, and we've had conversations around people not understanding in depth what they're doing. So if we take it into a confined space arena, that's an area I've got a lot of passion for, and Sam and I've had a lot of conversations about over the years. We've turned up at workplaces and undertaken things like refresher training for confined spaces. And it wouldn't be the first time that I've had conversations with people about things like threshold limit values, so things like STEL, short-term exposure limits, and TWA, time-weighted averages. And when you talk to people that are supposedly competent and have been working in confined spaces for many years, you're met with blank stares. And it wouldn't be the first time I've had conversations where people have said they've never even heard of those. And that sort of thing really concerns me. It concerns me a lot. If you don't understand this sort of stuff, then you're potentially putting yourself at risk. And so this is about understanding your safety why and why we can and can't do things. Again, in confined spaces, Sam and I've been in scenarios before where we've had conversations with people and we've talked about gas testing, and we talk to people, what the safe oxygen levels are. And people would get an abnormal gas reading, so they might get a low oxygen level. And we've challenged people and said, well, why is it low? Don't know. What do we need to do about it? Purge, ventilate, things like that. The problem I have with that is people don't understand why the oxygen has been reduced. The gas detector is only a full gas detector. It's not showing anything else. But as I've said to people, oxygen doesn't just disappear. Put aside all the jokes about co-workers being oxygen thieves and things like that. There's a reason that the oxygen is depleted in the confined space. It doesn't just disappear. And again, you start talking to people, well, why can't we enter? Because that's what we've been trained. Yeah, but why? I don't know, that's just what we've been told. People need to have a long, hard look at their training. So this is both employers and employees, and just as much the RTOs and assessors as well. And this is what concerns me when we start hearing of RTOs that are starting to drive down the minimum amount of training. We're going through tick and flick assessments and things like that. What we're doing is we're putting people out into the workplace that are supposedly competent but don't have an in-depth knowledge about the topic or the content to be actually making informed decisions. I struggle when people say, well, that's how I've been taught, but they're not understanding their why and why they can or can't do something, or why they should and shouldn't do something. And I think we need to look long and hard at that as investigators. We need to be looking at the competence and looking at it more in depth. And then obviously, as I said, as employers, employees and RTOs, looking at our practices and what we do when we deem people competent. I'd really like your thoughts. Again, I really push this. You need to understand your safety why and not just fall back, that's how I've been taught, or I don't know, or I don't understand. It's not good enough. And I think that's going to lead to some catastrophic decisions being made at some stage that's going to result either in serious injuries or unfortunately in deaths or multiple deaths. Let me know your thoughts, comment below. Thanks for your time.